Hi! Within this lecture, we're going to see how we can use these caplets in real action. So we have our Windows machine running on here on the same NAS network as our Kali Linux, and I'm going to run better cap in a way that we always do by running iface eth0. And over here we have to run this net.probe, net.recon, and ARP spoof and everything like we did before. So I'm going to run net.probe for starters. Okay, so now it detected our Windows virtual machine. Over here we can see the net.probe and net.recon are working right now, and later on we need to set the ARP spoof parameters. Remember, we had to be man in the middle eventually, so even though we are using HTTPS hijack right now, it won't do anything unless we are man in the middle. So we're going to use ARP spoof like we did before. So I'm going to run help arp.spoof. So remember the parameters that we want to change over here. So it was ARP spoof full duplex and ARP spoof target. So let's start with ARP spoof full duplex. We have to set it to true in order to attack both the gateway and the target. And next thing that we want to do is to change the ARP spoof targets. So set ARP spoof dot targets to 10024. If you have multiple targets, you can put a comma and write the other ones as well. Okay, after that I believe we are good to go and start the ARP spoof on. Okay, and remember, if you come across any problem over here at this point, because we're trying to run this with a caplet this time, so you may encounter some problems. If it doesn't work, you're more than welcome to change this arp.spoof.internal parameter as well. So far we have been working with this in default mode, and it didn't cause any problems for us up until that moment. But if it causes some problem, come over here and say set arp.spoof.internal to true. I'm not going to do that right now, but you know how this works. So I'm just going to say arp.spoof.on, space on, and next thing for us to run these net.sniff, because we want to sniff the target packets over here, okay? And then we are ready actually, but remember, we have to run our HTTPS hijack caplet as well. In order to do that, I will just type HTTPS hijack and hit tab, and it will autocomplete it for me like that, HTTPS hijack / HTTPS hijack. If I hit enter without doing anything else, it will start this caplet like it's supposed to. As you can see, now our HTTPS hijack is running, and it runs some JavaScript codes, it runs some keylogger as well. Now let's head back to our Windows machine. Okay, I'm going to open my browser and I'm going to clear the cache as usual, because we're going to try a new thing over here. Okay, go to the settings and say clear everything from here. So we will start fresh, and I will start with HTTPS websites rather than HSTS, because it will be easier for us to test to understand whether this is working or not. Okay, so right now we have to figure out some HTTPS websites rather than HSTS. And we have worked with LinkedIn and Stack Overflow, I believe, in the previous lectures. So let's go for LinkedIn one more time. So here you go. Now we managed to downgrade LinkedIn to HTTP. As you can see, we don't see any secure icon over here, and we don't have HTTPS in front of LinkedIn. Now if we try to get the data out of this website, I believe we can, because it's HTTP anyway, right? Let's try with some other website, like let's go for Stack Overflow. So this is a website used by developers to find some solutions to common problems. And here you go. This is HTTPS, and we managed to downgrade it. Now, if you try this with any other websites, with HSTS websites, there is a high chance it won't work unless you put it on the targets and replacements over here, and I will show you how to use them as well, don't worry. So let me go to this website. So this is xcsozluk.com. So this is kind of a Turkish website, but this uses HSTS, so I'm just showing it to you because, as you can see, we didn't manage to downgrade it to HTTP, and if we didn't include them in the caplet configuration, it won't be easy for us to downgrade from HTTPS to HTTP. But let's focus on HTTPS right now. We're going to talk about HSTS in the next lecture. Right now, in the linkedin.com, I'm not signed in, and this is not even HTTPS. So I believe this is a good catch for us. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to sign in, not using this pop-up menu because it won't be effective. Maybe they will just get rid of this once in a while. So I'm just going to try and click on the sign in button, and it will open a new page for us, I believe, and we would be testing to see if we can just go to other websites, other pages of this website, and be still in the HTTP as well, so that whenever we try to browse in the linkedin.com, we would still get the data from the target. So it's kind of an important thing because HTTPS to HTTP might occur once, but if we lose it later on, then all the packets will be again encrypted and we won't be able to see them. So let's go and try this. Let's click over here to sign in button. Okay. And it should take us to the sign in page of linkedin.com. Once we are there, we're going to bring in some credentials and test if we can get them in the Kali Linux. And as you can see, it doesn't work smoothly as we have seen in the man-in-the-middle framework. It's still trying to go into the sign in button, sign in page, I believe. Okay, but it doesn't load it so efficiently. Maybe it's because of our connection, maybe it's because of the tool itself, but BetterCap actually does this very often. As you can see, I have to refresh this to go into the sign in page. So this is again HTTP, so I believe we can test this. We can just go for test at gmail.com, for example, and for the password you can just make up something like 123456, and let me hit sign in. Okay, so it's still trying to send a request to the server. Once it completes sending, we can see it in our logs in Kali Linux. Okay, so as you can see, it's still stalling a little bit. But let me go to the Kali Linux and let me try to find if we manage to send this data. Let me just search for test@gmail.com. Okay, yeah, let's search for it. I believe we are finding it. Yeah, let me go back. No, I don't believe it's done. Let me send it one more time. As you can see, it's not smooth as man-in-the-middle framework. That's why I didn't remove man-in-the-middle framework from the lectures, even though it's outdated. It's not getting updates anymore. It still works better than BetterCap in some of the circumstances, okay, like this. And here you go, we managed to get test@gmail.com over here. So it works, but it's not smooth as man-in-the-middle framework. So let me search for 123456. Here you go, we managed to get the password as well. Of course, you might think that, yeah, you knew the password and you search for it. How are you going to find the password in a real-life example? Of course, you can search for password as well rather than just searching for 123456. And as you can see, it still gives you the password over here. So it takes a little bit time to get familiarized with this kind of log reading, okay, because it's long. Over here we have all these packets and layers and stuff, and it may be some kind of hard thing to find the real data between these packets and logs, but you can just search for username, password, some keywords in order to understand what's going on in this network. So as you can see, we managed to break the HTTPS, we managed to downgrade it to the HTTP, and we managed to steal the data from the target computer by using this technique. So it can be done in other HTTPS websites as well. So if it works for you, it's very good. You can continue using that. If it doesn't work for you, you can just try it with man-in-the-middle framework, okay? And if both works for you, then you're very good. You can just use whatever you want in real life examples. But this better cap has also the advantage of attempting to break the HSTS as well, thanks to the caplets. Okay, and there isn't very high successful rate in the HSTS hijack when we try to attempt to break the HSTS, but sometimes it works, and there are some conditions to make it work. And I'm going to show all these conditions, okay? But we're gonna do that in the next lecture.